Shalom, shalom family, this is Zacharia coming back again with another lesson. So before we jump in, I just want to give all glory and praises to the Most High haue and give him thanks for waking us up today. He's our sustainer and the giver of life. So yeah, I just want to come out with another banger again today. Very important lesson, man. I want to take a swing at all these people's false gods and all this, particularly all this Annunaki nonsense and BS that people are starting to say online that, the Most High is who's this being, Enlil or whatever called in the Anunnaki pantheon or whatever. But all of this is complete nonsense, and actually, once you actually understand, the hidden scriptures, all of these things start making sense. So I'm going to take a dive into that a little bit today, and yeah, this is going to be a banger, so strap in. And this is all due to, Billy Carson as well, deceiving millions. So this picture here, put this up, not because I want to give it honor, but these are what these people call gods, man. And these are not no damn gods. The only gods on the earth are the Israelite men and women and the Most High, man, and his angels, man. All these things are in all these mythologies are nothing more than the fallen angels. And we're going to be bringing that out today, man. Bringing this out by the name of Yahweh, man. Bring out the truth. And this is the Book of Enoch, chapter 6 from verse 1. In those days when the children of man had multiplied, it happened that there were born unto them handsome and beautiful daughters, and the angels, the children of heaven, saw them and desired them, and they had said one to another, Come, let us choose wives for ourselves from among the daughters of man, and beget us children. And Semyaz, being the leader, said unto them, I fear that perhaps you will not consent that this deed should be done, and that I alone become responsible for this great sin. But they all responded to him, Let us all swear an oath and bind everyone among us by a curse, not to abandon the suggestion, but to do the deed. And they all swore together and bound one another by the curse. Now I want to skip to chapter 7 from verse 1. And they took wives unto themselves, and everyone respectively chose one woman for himself, and they began to go unto them, and they taught them magical medicine, incantations, the cutting of roots, and taught them about plants. And the woman became pregnant and gave birth to great giants whose heights were 300 cubits. These giants consumed the produce of all the people until all the people detested them. So the giants turned against the people in order to eat them, and they began to sin against the birds, the wild beasts, reptiles, and fish, and their flesh was devoured the one by the other, and they drank blood. Now this right here is the main point which was taken out of the Bible, and which none of your Christian pastors will teach on this. I promise you. Bring this up to them, none of them. And when you show them Genesis chapter 6, when it talks about this, none of them will say, oh no, the sons of God, it's talking about man. They'll try and change what the scripture actually says. But even if you go into the Hebrew, it makes it clear that these are the fallen beings, the fallen angels, man. And Azazel taught the people the art of making swords, knives, and shields, and breastplates, and he showed to the chosen ones bracelets, decorations, shadowing of the eye with antimony, ornamentation, the beautifying of eyelids, all kinds of precious stones, and all coloring tinctures and alchemy. And they were many wicked ones, and they committed adultery and erred, and all their contact became corrupt. Asmoros taught incantation and the cutting of roots, and Armoros the resolving of incantations, and Baraquel astrology, and Coraquel the knowledge of the signs, and Samuel taught the seeing of the stars, and Asderel taught the course of the moon, as well as the deception of man. So this is particularly, and all the people cried their voice and reached unto heaven. So now this is what I want to focus on, man. How these angels and these beings came down and taught man like all mannerisms of things to corrupt themselves, like swords and weapons and magic and all sorts of evil and abomination. And This story and this mythology, you can find it in all mythologies. The stories of the Titans, the stories of beings coming down. It's in every single culture. So, and this is no different also with your Annunaki story, man. And, these people trying to come up against the truth of the Most High, like Billy Carson, corrupting people with his false doctrine. So these are things that people would define today as also technology as well. But the scriptures don't call it that, but this is technology. They gave man technology and knowledge of higher things. And it also says they showed this to their chosen ones. They also had chosen ones, like the fallen angels did everything on their side, how the Most High did things on his side. So these chosen ones are what you would call the Titans. Now, just to show you that the scriptures does talk about it, and these are the scriptures that they've taken out of your King James, Giueth 16:7. For the mighty one did not fall by the young men, neither did the sons of Titan smite him, nor the high giant set upon him. But Judith, the daughter of Merari, weakened him by the beauty mountain. So this is where all these mythologies are coming from. You're thinking, Egyptian mythology, just because it's, African and, because they show you some black people that, it's not from, the fallen. People also need to, we just get so deceived by everything, but it's because we're looking for answers everywhere else except the Bible, and we constantly believe that the Bible is a white man's book when it had got nothing to do with him. So I want to also go into this next segment with you guys and just show you a little bit of evidence of, what the fallen angels have left behind, and, the evidence of what the scriptures speak of, and that it's true. So just take a look at this.
Such as David and Goliath. There are the accounts of the Babylonian king Gilgamesh. In stone tablets that have been recovered, there are images carved of Gilgamesh taking on a lion. And looking at the scale of the ancient carvings, it appears this man had to have been at least 12 to 15 feet tall, taking into consideration the size of the lion he is portrayed to have slain. Gilgamesh lived sometime between 2800 and 2500 BC. He is the main character in the Epic of Gilgamesh, a Mesopotamian poem that is considered the first great work of literature. In the epic, Gilgamesh is a demigod of superhuman strength who built the city walls of Uruk to defend his people and survive the Great Deluge. According to the Sumerian king list, Gilgamesh ruled his city for 126 years. Fragments of an epic text found in Maturin, the modern Tel Hadad, relate that at the end of his life, Gilgamesh was buried under the riverbed. It is generally accepted that Gilgamesh was a historical figure, since inscriptions have been found which confirm the historical existence of other figures associated with him, such as the Aga of Kish. If Gilgamesh was a historical king, he probably reigned in about the 26th century BC. Where did Gilgamesh come from? In the Qumran scroll known as the Book of Giants, the names of Gilgamesh and Humbaba appear as two of the antediluvian giants. Could Gilgamesh have come from Atlantis, or be a direct descendant of antediluvian kings? If giants existed in the past, where is the evidence? You may be surprised to find that it's been and is being discovered all over the world. Skeletal remains of giants have been discovered throughout American history and even further back. According to Native American Paiute oral history, the Setika are a legendary tribe whose mummified remains were allegedly discovered under 4 feet of guano by guano miners in what is now known as Lovelock Cave in Lovelock, Nevada. Several of the fiber sandals found in Lovelock Cave were remarkably large, and one reported at over 15 inches in length was said to be on display at the Nevada Historical Society's museum in Reno in 1952. The Paiute tradition asserts that the Setika people practiced cannibalism, and this may have had some basis in fact. During the 1924 excavation of the cave, a series of 3 human bones were found near the surface towards the mouth of the cave. These had been split to extract the marrow, as animal bones were split, and probably indicate cannibalism during a famine. As reported in the Nevada Review-Minor newspaper on June 19, 1931, in February and June of 1931, 2 very large skeletons were found in the Humboldt dry lake bed near Lovelock. One skeleton was 8.5 feet tall and was later described as being wrapped in a gum-covered fabric not unlike Egyptian mummies. The other was almost 10 feet tall. It was said that all the tribes of the area stood together against these giants and chased them into a cave. The giants refused to leave the safety of the cave, so the Paiutes, along with other tribes, set the cave on fire. The cave then collapsed during an earthquake, sealing the entrance shut. When the area was mined for fertilizing materials, there were several fossils discovered in the early 1920s. Along with those fossils were the well-preserved human-like skeletons, 1 male and 1 female. The female was over 6 feet tall, and the male was over 8 feet tall. Along with the discovery of the skeletons, there were many other artifacts found, including a circular One fact that continues to surface in the discovery of giants is the reports of skulls having more than 1 row of teeth. According to a study on molecular genetics of supernumerary tooth formation, the cause of extra rows of teeth is genetic. Despite advances in the knowledge of tooth morphogenesis and differentiation, relatively little is known about the molecular mechanisms underlying supernumerary tooth formation. A small number of supernumerary teeth may be a common developmental dental anomaly, while multiple supernumerary teeth usually have a genetic component, and they are sometimes thought to represent a partial third dentation in humans. Mice, which are commonly used for studying tooth development, only exhibit 1 dentation, with very few mouse models exhibiting supernumerary teeth similar to those in humans. Activation of APC or forced activation WNT Canton signal results in multiple supernumerary tooth formation in both humans and in mice, but the key genes in these pathways are not very clear. Analysis of other model systems with continuous tooth replacement or secondary tooth formation, such as fish, snake, lizard, and ferret, is providing insights into the molecular and cellular mechanisms underlying successional tooth development and should assist in the studies on supernumerary tooth formation in humans. But scientists say this information, together with the advances in stem cell biology and tissue engineering, will pave ways for the tooth regeneration and tooth bioengineering. Though having 2 rows of teeth is not uncommon, the specific genetics of giants would probably be a specific trait to this line of human development. Along with the reports of double rows of teeth, extra digits in the hands and feet are sometimes reported. Along the Illinois River in a cave, a priest claimed he found prints in rock. The larger representation of the human foot was 14 inches and had 6 toes instead of 5. Morris's Universal Geography, according to the priest, gives this account of a number of tracks or foot impressions found in rocks in the mountains of Tennessee. Along these were a number of tracks representing human feet, and they uniformly had 6 toes on each foot. Scientists are stubbornly silent about lost races of giants, such as those found in burial mounds near Lake Devlin, Wisconsin, in May of 1912. The dig site at Lake Devlin was overseen by Beloit College, and it included more than 200 effigy mounds that proved to be classic examples of 8th century woodland culture. But the enormous size of the skeletons and elongated skulls found in May of 1912 did not fit very neatly into anyone's concept of a textbook standard. They were enormous. They were not average human beings. First reported on the 4th of May 1912 issue of the New York Times, the 18 skeletons found by the Peterson brothers on Lake Lawn Farm in southwest Wisconsin exhibited several strange and freakish features. Their heights ranged from 7.6 feet and 10 feet, and their skulls, presumably those of men, were much larger than the heads of any race which inhabit America today. They tend to have a double row of teeth, 6 fingers, 6 toes, and like humans, came in different races. The teeth in the front of the jaw were regular molars. Heads usually found were elongated and believed due to a longer than normal lifespan. The Lake Devlin find of May 1912 was only one of dozens of several finds that were reported in local newspapers from 1851 forward to the present day. It was not even the first set of giant skeletons found in Wisconsin. On the 10th of August of 1891, the New York Times...
And there was yet a battle in Gath, and there was a man of great stature, and had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number. And he also was born to the giant.
The Guadalupe woman is a well-authenticated discovery which has been in the British Museum for over half a century. In 1812, on the coast of the French Caribbean island of Guadalupe, a fully human skeleton was found, complete in every aspect except for the feet and head. It belonged to a woman about 5 foot 2 inches tall. What makes this of great significance is the fact that this skeleton was found inside extremely hard, very old limestone, which was part of a formation more than a mile in length. Modern geological dating places this formation at 28 million years old, which is 25 million years before modern man is supposed to have first appeared on Earth. Since such a date for a regular person does not fit evolutionary theory, you will not find Guadalupe woman mentioned in any hominid textbooks. To do so would be to disprove evolutionary dating of rock formations. When the 2-ton limestone block containing Guadalupe woman was first put on exhibit in the British Museum in 1812, it was displayed as proof of the Genesis flood. But that was 20 years before Lyell and nearly 50 years before Darwin. In 1881, the exhibit was quietly taken down to the basement and remains there to this day.
Some mind-blowing information right there, fam. Like literal proof that the flood happened. A skeleton of a giant that's found in a piece of limestone that basically dates back to the antediluvian world. Like, modern science will say millions of years, but they use carbon dating, and we already know that carbon dating is BS, man. That's BS. So also just take a look of this picture of a giant at the museum, the British Museum, man. Now, I want to also go into, this is that I just got from Wikipedia, but I want to go into a little bit of Zacharia Stitchen's work, because that's where also a lot of this nonsense of Annunaki and Enki, and he was like the first one that came with his BS, and where these basically gullible, simpleton niggas are following off. And he's also the author of the Book of Enki. Now, according to Stitchen, Nibiru called the 12th planet because Stitchen claims the Sumerian god-given conception of the solar system counted all 8 planets plus Pluto, the Sun and Moon, was the home of a technically advanced human-like extraterrestrial race called the Annunaki in the Sumerian myth, which Stitchen states are called the Nephilim in Genesis. He wrote they evolved after Nibiru entered the inner solar system, and they first arrived on Earth probably 450,000 years ago looking for minerals, especially gold, which they found and mined in Africa. Wow, isn't that interesting? Because what do you need to make weapons and breastplates and swords? Very interesting. Now, also we see that here, according to Stitchen's interpretation, beyond Neptune, there are more planets, but I want to skip here where he says here, the planet is called Nibiru. The planet is called Nibiru, although Jupiter was the planet associated with the god Marduk in Babylonian cosmology. So yeah, he tells you that basically Nibiru and Jupiter is one and the same in the mythology, and that also Marduk is also the god of Asian god in the Babylonian cosmology, who these simple niggas claim is Enlil, which is crazy, which has actually nothing to do with the scriptures. And when you know the scriptures actually rebuke this as a false god. We're going to rebuke this in the name of Yahuwah and in his son Yahusha, because all these false things are rising up against the word, and we are here to destroy all lies, man. And then Stitchen also claims here that the goddess of the creation, the Babylonian creation myth, is Ismut, which the scriptures identify as Ishtar. So there's no way that you can then claim that the Bible and the God of the Bible is the God of the Sumerian and got their story from there when it mentions them by name and tells the Israelites not to worship them. I have these basic niggas that don't really know nothing, they don't study nothing. Now they're out here, claiming some crazy stuff, but, we're not going to be out here entertaining lies. No more. Through the power of the Most High and through His name, we're going to destroy all these principalities in the name of Yahuwah. According to Stitchen, Enki suggested to relieve the Annunaki who had mutinied over their dissatisfaction with their working conditions, that primitive workers, Homo sapiens, be created by genetic engineering as slaves to replace them in the gold mines by crossing extraterrestrial genes with those of Homo erectus. Wow. Wow. Now check this out. Check this out, man. This is from the Book of Jasher, chapter 4, verse 17. And every man made unto himself a god, and they robbed and plundered every man his neighbor as well as his relative, and they corrupted the earth, and the earth was filled with violence. And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men and took their wives by force from their husbands, and according to their choice. And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other, in order therewith to provoke Yahuwah. And Yahuwah saw the whole earth, and it was corrupt, for all the flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth, and all men and all animals. And Yahuwah said, I will blot out man that I created from the face of the earth, yea, from man to the birds of the air, together with the cattle and beasts that are in the field, for I repent that I made them. And all men who walked in the ways of Yahweh died in those days, before Yahuwah brought the evil upon man which he had declared. For this was Yahuwah, that they should not see the evil which Yahuwah spoke of concerning the sons of men. And Noah found free unmerited love and favor in the sight of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah chose him and his children to raise up seed from upon the face of the whole earth. Now these were the things that were going on in the days of Noah, man. The mixing of species, these Anunnaki beings, these fallen angels, these giants, just mad things going on, man. And these things are going to come back. Best believe, man. In these last days, we're going to see these things come back. And you think that, the Bible doesn't mention these giants and Gilgamesh. Well, here is a fragment from the Book of Giants, and it specifically mentions him, and it says, I am a giant, and the mighty strength of my arm and my own great strength I can vanquish any one mortal, and have made, but am not able to stand against them, for my opponents who reside in heaven, and they dwell in the holy places, and only this, but they are stronger than I am. The day of the wild beasts has come, and the wild man shall call me. Now, this lets you know that this is a being of the fallen angels, because he says his opponents are those of heaven. Now, who are those who got kicked out of heaven, man? So, I mean, it doesn't really take much brain cells, and I can't believe like people are so gullible, to fall for like these things that Billy Carson is saying. That, he's saying some wild things, man. Some wild things, man. And, I pray that the Most High puts an end to all of it, and also pray that, people that are searching for the truth out there, they come across this video, honestly speaking. And here's even what archaeology reveals, in Sumerian, Annunaki means those who from the sky came. You know what I'm saying? Thousands of ancient clay tablets translated contain information about a godlike race from the planet Nibiru. I mean, these are the fallen angels, man. And this is what your archaeology reveals. It just proves it. And here the Bible even, calls it out, and we're going to rebuke it. Jeremiah 50:2, declare ye among the nations, and publish and set up a standard. Publish and say, conceal not. Say, Babylon is shaken, Bel is confounded. Murdoch is broken in pieces. Her images are broken in pieces. Ba'ashema Mashiach Yahuwah, Ba'ashema Makiahusha. We're going to destroy these idols, man, and these false ideologies rising up against the truth in these last days, man. So that's just all that I have to bring out, man. I want to show you guys this next segment and this next part. But before I dive into that, just to also show you guys also some proof of, archaeological sightings where giants have been found confirmed. So these things, they exist. And this is probably the biggest conspiracy and the biggest thing that, all religions have disguised this information, the information of the Anunnaki, the information of, the so-called fallen angels, the Nephilim. And here it even talks about them in the Book of Jubilees, chapter 7. I'm not going to go into that too much. But here's a young video also of these, so-called race that still can be found today, but in disguised places. But here, just check this out. Some of these beings that were created by the fallen angels, some of them are still around, but they're not shown. But yeah, just check this out.
Ei, Toy, vai dançar, vai. Ei, vai dançar, dança. Dança. Vai dançar.
Out of the ground of the earth, the Most High created earthly beings, poured his spirit inside of them, and dwelt and became one with them. However, there are now non-earthly beings amongst us. As it was in the days of Noah, so it is in this day and time. The jasper and sardine stone earthly beings are from the direct bloodline of the Most High, so nini na nini. The non-earthly beings are from the bloodline of angels. You need a physical body to operate in this realm. The non-earthly beings signed a contract with the dragon and created bodies illegally. Remember, just like mankind, some angels fell because they did not want the ways of the Most High, but some fell because they were deceived. So we shall judge by actions. The Most High created man. They created the beast.
Now when we say Neanderthal, the first thing we think of is a Caucasian or something, but you don't think that the melanated people over there that's still in our culture doing all that yoga is a Neanderthal because they black. And the first thing somebody will say is, look, we've been over here. They black over. Them not Africans. Those is not Aboriginal. Those is the original Neanderthals that came to this planet. Okay? So with that being said, from the albino Dravidian, this is the process, and I did an entire lecture on it. I'm going to give it to you now. The albino Dravidian is where the Caucasian and the Chinaman comes from. So with that being said, when we talk about divide and conquer, don't be confused by the imaginary division. You can't be confused by that. This is all one entity that is genetically that comes in genetic variables. So you can't. The Mongoloid is the, let's say, at the top of the totem pole for all other races. So really, it's only human and Neanderthal. Like even Caucasians are genetically dead Asians. Cauc means the word corp is dead, and then Asian is Asian. So Caucasians technically still is, to a certain degree, a Mongoloid. So you know what I'm saying? What we doing is we tricking ourselves with all these big words, and you know, you're a Mongoloid. They was even saying Negroid at one point in time. So that goes to show you, you know, if a scientist said you can be a Negro. How can it be a Negroid? You know what I'm saying? But they was basing words off of their own psychological philosophy at the time. So for me, you know, when we're talking about all of these different phenotypes, we have to understand that really it's only one true genotype that we're dealing with, which is the African mitochondria Eve gene. Everything else is spliced. So, you know, even right now, for example, they just spliced the human with the pig. And I told y'all that Caucasian is spliced with primate, chimpanzee, and dog. So now, what if this pig grow up? What kind of phenotype is this pig? A Dravidian is a Neanderthal. A Dravidian is the original.
Veil is coming down and people are about to see things that they are not ready to see. Listen to this story, y'all.
Hey, so today I experienced something that I've never experienced in my life before. It freaked me out, thought I was crazy. Still haven't processed it fully. So, as I do every week, twice a week, I make deliveries to the same guy. I've been doing it for 7 months. And it's the same guy every time I walk in. He's got a big garage with like a couple trucks in it. I walk in, I hand him his parts, we talk for a minute, I walk away. I go on my business. Today, I walked in, and he had his back to me, and he was working on his bench. And he must have heard me coming. I don't know, because I was actually pretty quiet, I thought. But when he turned around, I jumped and kind of grabbed my mouth like that because I didn't know what to think. And he laughed a little bit and he called me jumpy. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm just not feeling very good. And I handed him his part and I was like, hey, I gotta go. The reason I reacted that way is because when I looked at him, he was different. He didn't look like the same guy I saw every other time. First thing I saw was he had no color in his eyes. They were completely black. Like black. Like you couldn't even see reflections. It was just a black mass. And for some reason his ears were kind of weird and they had like this little point like that. I don't know what that was. Excuse me. But then I was talking to my friend and he sent me an article about them saying that a new disorder that's coming out where people are starting to see demon faces in people. And it got me thinking, if they're putting something like that out, could it be a disorder, or is it God is actually letting people see demons and they're just trying to make it look like we're crazy? I still can't process it. I can't.
So this is what it's all boiling down to, family. This is the ultimate agenda. Why we're having all these false prophets like Billy Carson and all these people pushing all this alien Annunaki agenda. Because this is the ultimate agenda, man, to deceive you and make you worship something that is not the Most High and make you accept something like this, man. The alien agenda, it's real, man. So this is all what it's coming down to. And the Messiah also did prophesy about this, in the book of Matthew 24 and 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Now, this is what the Messiah was referring to when he was saying that the days of Noah, because as I showed you in the book of Jasher, what was going on in the days of Noah. And I just want to bring out here in the book of Enoch, chapter 80, verse 4, the moon shall alter the order and will not be seen according to her normal cycles, and in those days it will appear in the skies, and it shall arrive in the evening in the extreme ends of the great lunar path in the west, and it shall shine more brightly, exceeding the normal degree of light. Many of the chiefs of the stars shall make errors in respect to the order given to them. They shall change their course and functions, and not appear during the seasons which have been prescribed for them. And all the order of the stars shall harden in disposition against the sinners and the conscience of those that dwell upon the earth. They, the stars, shall err against them, the sinners, and modify all courses. Then they, the sinners, shall err and take them, the stars, to be gods. And evil things shall be multiplied upon them, and plague shall come upon them, so as to destroy them all. So this is what it's all coming down to, man. These stars are just nothing but these fallen beings. That's like the scriptures is calling them stars, but that's not really what they are. They're fallen beings, man. And the Most also tells us, if there be found among you within thy gates, which Yahweh thy Allah am given thee, man or woman that have wrought wickedness in the sight of Yahweh, in transgressing his covenant, and have gone and served other gods and worshipped them, either the sun or the moon, or any host of the heaven which I have commanded not, it shall be told to thee, then thou shalt take the man outside or that woman, and stone them till they die. Now, this is the judgment that the Most High pronounces on us if we, follow and worship all these false pagan gods. Now, that's what people like Billy Carson is here to do, to deceive our people. But through the Spirit and the name of Yahuwah and through the Most High's Son, Yahushua, we will rebuke all lies, man, and cast them back into the hell, into Sheol, man. So, with all that, I give all praises to the Most High. Thank you all for tuning in. And ultimately, this story is all about us, man, to disguise who we are. But this is our story. We are the true children of Israel. And with that, I say, Shalom.